Making friends was never the hard part. Keeping them is. Somewhere on your phone, there's a group chat where nobody fought and nobody left. It just went quiet, and now everyone watches each other's stories like polite strangers. Friendships run on hours, and after school, life quietly stops supplying them. So here are 8 small moves that keep a friendship alive. This takes about 9 minutes. Chapter 1. The Fade Check. Here is the most reassuring thing researchers have found about fading friendships. Sam Roberts and Robin Dunbar followed young adults through the move from school to university, checking in 3 times across a year and a half. Each time, people rated how close they felt to each friend and family member. The friendships that stopped getting contact drifted down steadily, all on their own. Family ties mostly held. By the end, barely half of the close friendships were still close, and nothing dramatic had happened in any of them. The contact stopped, and the closeness followed. So fading is the default. A friendship left alone fades on its own, for everyone, at every age, which gives you the first tool. When an old friendship crosses your mind and stings, run the fade check. One question: did something actually happen between us, or did the hours just stop? Almost every time the honest answer is the hours. Feel what that answer does to the sting. The friendship stops looking like a loss and starts looking like a paused game, waiting for either player to press start. Chapter 2. The Price Tag. Jeffrey Hall, a researcher at the University of Kansas, asked a blunt question. How many hours does it take to make a friend? He studied adults who had just moved cities and students starting college, and the answer came back with numbers on it. Around 50 hours together turns an acquaintance into a casual friend. A close friend costs 200 hours or more. Now put that price next to an adult calendar. A catch-up dinner once a month is a lovely thing, and at that pace, 200 hours is a 10-year project. Every close friendship you already have was paid for in hours, back when the hours were easy to find. So the move is to put the price tag on. When keeping up with a friend starts to feel like effort, that feeling is the 200-hour price tag showing. Nothing more. Watch what the price tag does to the tired question in your head, the one that asks why this is so hard now. It becomes a plain shopping question. Where do the hours come from? And that question has answers. The next chapters are the answers. Chapter 3. The Standing Slot. The designer Kat Vellos interviewed hundreds of adults about friendship and kept meeting the same scene. The 30s arrive, friends marry, move, disappear into careers and kids, and the calendar just goes quiet. She calls it the friendship desert. Everyone still cares. Classes, dorms, and shared lunch breaks that used to hand people time together are gone, and nobody builds a replacement. Hall's research has a fine print worth hearing here. Only certain hours count. Time spent hanging out, joking around, and catching up turns into friendship. Time spent merely working side by side barely counts. People share an office for hundreds of hours and stay acquaintances. So build the smallest structure that works. One friend, one recurring slot. The first Sunday of the month, the Thursday walk, the monthly call. Put it in the calendar and let it repeat. You already protect standing slots for the gym and the dentist. This is the same skill, pointed at a person you would rather not lose. Then watch what the slot does after a few months. The catch-up stops starting from zero. The inside jokes survive. The friendship stops needing a reason to happen, which is exactly how it felt back when it was easy. Chapter 4. The Detail File. In How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie tells the story of Jim Farley. Farley left school young and still ended up running a president's national campaign. His method was almost embarrassingly simple. Every time he met someone, he learned their name, their family, their work, and their politics. A year later, he could walk up and ask about the family by name and about the hollyhocks growing in their backyard. People felt remembered, and people who feel remembered stay. So keep a detail file. After a catch-up, write one line in your notes. The job interview, the sick dog, the trip to see her mother. It costs 10 seconds. And if a notes file feels like homework for something that should be natural, remember which part is the natural part. Caring is. The notes just keep what your friend told you from evaporating. Then watch their face the next time you open with one of those details. To your friend, a remembered detail is proof the friendship kept running while the phones were quiet. Chapter 5. The Real Question. Vellos has a name for the way long friendships go flat. She calls the default check-in conversational styrofoam. The words "how are you" work like a greeting, the same as saying good morning, and the reply runs on the same script every time. Good, busy, you? 2 friends can trade that exchange for years and never actually talk. The fix is already sitting in your detail file. Open with the specific question only you could ask. Did the interview happen? How is the dog? How was your mom's surgery? A specific question cannot be answered on autopilot, so the conversation leaves the script in the first message. Watch what one specific question does to a quiet friendship. The friend who sends one-word answers suddenly sends paragraphs. All it took was a question that could not be answered on autopilot. Chapter 6. The Attendance Trap. The friendship coach Shasta Nelson spent years studying why people feel lonely inside friendships they still have. Her answer is a triangle. Friendship runs on three supplies: positivity, consistency, and vulnerability. And the sneaky part is that consistency alone can look like the whole thing. She tells a story about her own weekly night with 5 close friends. It came to her turn to share. The conversation drifted to an article, then to someone's sister. The evening ended and nobody had noticed that she never got to speak. She put it this way: I had friends. My loneliness was not from a lack of friendships. It was because I did not feel seen. Attendance feeds the calendar. Being seen feeds the friendship. So use Nelson's own repair, gently, in the moment. Say, before we wrap up, I want 2 minutes to tell you about my thing. And run it in reverse too. Once a hangout, notice who has not had a turn and hand it to them. Watch the quiet friend come alive when you do. People remember who noticed them for years. Chapter 7. The Uneven Season. Here is the story that takes the pressure off every long friendship. Aminatou Sow and Ann Friedman wrote a book called Big Friendship, about their own 10 years as best friends. The honest part is that it nearly broke. Different cities, different lives, a stretch where one of them carried most of the reaching out. So they hired a therapist together for the friendship and did the work in a real office. And it held. Their conclusion, in their own words: there is no autopilot mode for a big friendship. You just have to keep showing up. What their story hands the rest of us is the idea of seasons. A long friendship is almost never even in the moment. A new baby, a brutal job, a bad year, and one person carries the friendship for a while. Years later, the weight swaps sides. Online, the most upvoted friendship stories are scoreboards. Thousands of people describe reaching out again and again, getting tired, and going quiet for good. A scoreboard only counts turns. It cannot see who is in a hard year, so for a friendship you would actually miss, replace the silent test with one named sentence. Something like, I have felt like the one reaching out lately. I miss you. What is going on your end? Then watch what usually comes back. Usually it is relief and some version of, I am sorry, things have been heavy, I have missed you too. And to be clear, some friendships do fade for good reasons, and you are allowed to let those go. This move is for the ones that still matter. Chapter 8. The Out Loud Thank You. One more study, and it is the gentlest one in the video. The psychologists Amit Kumar and Nicholas Epley had people write short letters of thanks to someone who mattered to them, then predict the reaction. The writers got it wrong in the same direction every time. They expected awkwardness. The people receiving felt moved and happier than the writers ever guessed. Between friends, the unsaid pile grows for years. The friend who called every day after the surgery, the one who drove out at midnight. They usually have no idea they are filed in your head as proof that people can be good. So tell one of them, in one text, with the specific thing named. That time you called me every day after the surgery, I never forgot that. No occasion, no anniversary. The longer it has gone unsaid, the harder it lands. And watch what happens on the other end. People keep those messages. Some will reread yours for years. Here is the whole list, short enough to screenshot. When a friendship fades, check the hours before anything else. Remember, a close friend is 200 hours. Give one friend a standing slot. Keep the detail file. Open with the specific question. Hand the quiet friend a turn. Name the uneven season out loud. And send the thank you that has been sitting in your head. And if the list feels heavy, Jeffrey Hall has one last finding. A single real conversation with a friend on any given day is enough to lift that day. Once is enough. More is better. Everyone forgets these, even people who know them. Come back whenever you need reminding.